Hi everyone. So we're going to be doing a few questions.
Oh, Julianus be praised.
On
a friendly face. It seems the roads are far more dangerous than I was led to believe. We stopped to enjoy the breeze when a crazed brigand came out of nowhere and robbed us.
Who?
One masked brigand and a pack of horrid beasts she commanded. Frelgotha did everything she could to protect me, bless her heart. But the thief made off with my entire dowry. Now I haven't a napkin ring to present to my future bride. She disappeared into the nearby Firelight Cave. Adventurer, if you can recover my 4 dowry bundles, I promise to make it worth your while. Every scrap of silk and muddy jewel could save me from becoming the laughingstock of Skingrad. It took years to negotiate a fair dowry for the Verdullis family's eldest daughter. To come this close to a life of leisure, only for some flea-infested scoundrel to dash my dreams? Please, search Firelight for my dowry. I beg of you. They are a very powerful mercantile family, and any misstep could spell disaster for my marriage proposal. It's been a grueling year of negotiations between our families. Would you believe I haven't even met my bride-to-be? Absurd, I know, but it's almost more romantic. The tidal forces of commerce leaving...
Yeah, no, mate.
It was horrible.
I really don't. Oh.
It took... Please, find what you can of my dowry and I'll compensate you handsomely.
And be wary of the Theriker. They aren't to be trifled with.
What? Alright, let's go. Should be interesting.
What's this? Did my betrothed hire someone to retrieve his dowry? How quaint. You should be warned. My beasts don't like losing their toys, and they do love his shiny gifts. Tread carefully, adventurer. I've had my fill of impish fools, child.
Okay, well. Let's go. We should be coming close to one.
Time for tea then.
Doesn't Grander realize the opportunity I've given him? Why try to recover his bid for my hand? Help him if you feel so inclined, but be warned. The beasts of Firelight are ravenous.
Okay. Whoa.
use have I for collars of gold and silver? Contracts be damned. The Theriker grew restless. We have that in common. It's time we left these woods behind.
Oh. Right. One should be coming up. Well, not into that.
I had dreams of being a great warden, you know. But these woods have changed. The land doesn't sing to me anymore. Return the dowry to Grander if you wish. I'm leaving all this nonsense behind.
Okay. Whoa. No way. What the? Sorry, I was checking something. Nice, level 4. Oh, okay, it's that. Okay, it's following me. That was good.
I'm certain Grander will wonder whether he was inadequate, unworthy of my love. I've taken what I need. Enough gold to start a new life, far away from here. You should do the same.
Okay.
Hostilities ended. Now to relax.
Oh, I don't know why. Honest. Oh, I should have went that way. Oh, it's fine. Look it up. Hi. Hi. Great. Maybe this. Right. That way. Whoops. Yeah. Okay. But I can work somewhere.
Traverse that
I feel like I went wrong way. Somewhere. I did this somewhere. Oh. Oh wait. Oh.
Here to fight. My family drama puts you in danger. I owe you some answers if you want them.
Alright.
A proper introduction, then. I am Amoral Verdelis, Grander's bride-to-be. You can tell him it was me. I'm certain my betrayal will make for quite the waterworks. I harbor no ill will toward the man. Only what he represents. This contract. It's been years since they've taken any interest in my needs. Why would I care for theirs? They've made it plainly clear I wasn't the daughter they prayed for. Too quick to fight, too tough to bend. And still they tried to force me into shape. This cave was once a sanctuary from my parents, before this wild magic twisted it into something cruel. It was my second home, filled with beasts with softer smiles than the ones that raised me. Yes, and the creatures that lived within it, driven wild and feral. I did what I could to calm them, tend to their fear. I had hoped to take them with me, to return the favor and save them from this mess. But I acted too late. I'm not sure. And even if I did, I wouldn't tell Grander's hired aide. Just know it will be far away from here. Beyond the highlands and the overgrowth. Beyond even the reach of my family's wealth. Farewell, adventurer. Perhaps one day we'll cross paths again.
Yeah.
You've returned in one piece. I hope you gave that brigand your back. And with my dowry in tow. This is still plenty to impress the Virdalis' eldest daughter. What's this now? Has word already spread of my ineptitude? My abject failure? Has the Virdalis family already dragged my name through the coals? Please, kind-hearted and dashing adventurer, end your silence and tell me. My immoral? What would drive her to steal her own dowry? Surely there must be some misunderstanding. These barbaric acts are far beneath her, let alone the Virdalis family name. At least it explains the warm rush I felt from her commands. Run away. I see. It's strange I find myself so hurt by someone I never met. Who am I to begrudge someone for wanting greener pastures? I hope she finds what she's looking for. I'll be fine. Mother taught us Namarset men to persevere. Well, I don't appreciate the chosen imagery. I get your meaning. Yes. Though the long road to betrothal is a lonely path, I'll gladly walk it. Thank you, traveler. I wonder what's to become of this dowry. I could save it for my next bride. Yes, of course, a delightful woman. In fact, she was the one who often made the ride out to our lumber yards to... What a novel idea!
Yeah.
Good news! The adventurer retrieved my dowry. We can continue on to Skingrad as planned. And I promise you both a pint of ale when we get there.
Yeah, no.
And I'll be
Look
able
for what? See, they don't show up on my map. So, should be a complete guess. Sure, I'll find something.
move along. This doesn't concern you.
Oh, there's questions around here.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
What the?
Betu! Oh, where has that dog gone? Excuse my shouting, traveler. You wouldn't happen to have seen a dog running around? Large, fluffy, carrying a very important estate-defining scroll in his mouth? Oh, it's a tiring ordeal. I'm visiting Weald to execute the will of my late aunt, Lady Weatherly. The will my aunt's beloved dog, Betu, currently has in his slobbery little mouth. No thanks to Lady Weatherly's investigator friend. Yes, one Mizik Thunderboots. It seems he and my aunt are old friends, and he insisted on helping execute her will. I've had my fill, but you're welcome to lend him a hand. In fact, I can offer you a tidy sum if you can help move things along. You can find Mizik just down the road, searching the Weatherly estate for Betu. He has quite a distinct look. You can't miss him. Khajiit wearing a broad-brimmed hat and big, heavy boots. Quite the flair for the dramatic, if you ask me. My dear aunt suffered a terrible fall in her library. It's tragic. She certainly had many more years ahead of her. Now those she left behind are trying to piece together her final wishes. Even her son deigned to return. I shouldn't be so flippant with my family's drama. Uriel, my cousin, disappeared years ago. My aunt believed he died in Varen's revolt. Yet, here he is. Something doesn't seem right. One Mizik Thunderboots. It's an odd name for an investigator, don't you think?
Yeah.
Careful now. A cunning and foul beast has made off with an important document and played music for a fool. Perhaps you can help retrieve it? Ah, a wonderful idea from dear Aquilia. This one fears there is more afoot to Lady Weatherly's death. But our first clue is currently in the jowls of a dog. A hairy, stinky thing. Betu is the beast's name, though this one calls him Headache. Oh, yes. Helping with the will is a cover. Not only was her death sudden and mysterious, but now her fortune is missing, and her long-lost son has returned. A great many threads for one's claws to get tangled in. Yes. Aquilia wishes the question of inheritance be conclusively answered before it becomes fodder for the gossips. Now, dear Aid, we must find Betu. This one has already found his tracks. Let us...
I don't know what you're playing at, but you are a fool to come here.
There's Lady Belena and her husband Uriel, our once
Be
long-lost
angry
son.
all you want, dear wife, but don't cause a scene. I'm here to stay.
Fine. Then you can help deal with your cousin and that inane investigator. Now, where could that mangy dog have gotten off to?
Okay. But I feel like I'm gone in circles.
There's Betu. Quickly, grab the wheel.
Not now, Betu. Away with you!
With the wheel secured, let us speak with Edric.
Alright.
Betu's always been an incorrigible sort. Best not to let him walk all over you. Apologies. I should introduce myself. My name is Edric Bressner. I was Lady Weatherly's cook. Terrible thing, her death. Beyond compare. Yes, terribly so. I've been in her employ for what feels like ages, which is why I hope you'll listen when I say you must leave the estate. I fear what happened to our dear lady could happen to you.
Okay.
Chefs are privy to more than just their employer's favorite dishes. Lady Weatherly hasn't been the same since her son's disappearance, and I'm not the only one to take notice. Fruit flies buzz around the sweetest fruit, after all. I can't say any more. I only came to pay my respects and to leave this place behind. If I were you, I would stay far away from that manor before that investigator digs up something horrible.
Alright.
If you insist
It seems the cook knows more than he is willing to let on. How very curious. Mizik will have to make note of this. At least this confirms that the residents of the estate are keeping their secrets close to their chests. Yes, of course. Along with the cook, there's Otho Florius, the gardener. Then, of course, Lady Weatherly's missing son himself, Uriel, back from the dead. And his wife, Helena, who has long lived at the estate with Lady Weatherly. Convenient, yes? Many questions surround Uriel's sudden return. And it should be noted that Helena seems none too pleased about it. Mizik has, of course, investigated a number of failed marriages, but this seems different. Ah, what of the will? Yeah, excellent. The seal is still intact. We should return to the manor now that we've secured the will. I am certain our roosting vultures are keen to hear what it has to say. Meet Mizik by the manor house when you are ready to meet the others.
Yep.
I hope Betu's return means you retrieved the will, Mizik?
Yes, the will is returned and intact, thanks to my assistant.
Well, let's get this over with. Read it aloud, Mizik.
Yes, of course. Weatherly's walls hide a glittering secret, safely guarded by 4 loyal paws. Do not worry. Mizik and his assistant will get to the bottom of this.
I'm sorry. Is that a riddle?
This must be some sort of joke.
There he is. My faithful friend.
The estate feels hollow now, without her. And apologies for my appearance. Needed some liquid courage to walk the halls of this corpse.
Isn't that right, boy?
I hope you find who did this. She did not deserve what happened to her. Closer than most staff are with their lords and ladies, I reckon. I'd worked for her since before young Uriel had even been born. Feels like a lifetime ago. More memories to drown, I suppose.
Okay then.
I'm Otho, the gardener. Betu must like you if he followed you back. He's a good judge of character, you know. Lady Weatherly loved him dearly. I worry about what will become of him when all is said and done. Edric is making a bit of a fool of himself. It pains me to see him this way. I assure you, he's never acted like this before. Perhaps it'd be better if you asked him.
It seems I was right to ask for your help. Despite the mysterious contents of the will, this is the most progress we've made all day. I trust you and Mizik will see things through, and we can proceed with this unpleasant business. Fairly, though I wish I had made more of an effort to visit. I spent many summers here when I was younger, but school and then my position kept me away for far too long. She was kind, generous. Her loss outweighs any treasure we might find.
All this waiting, and for what? A riddle. It's absurd. The sooner you and Mizik solve this riddle, the sooner our family can move on from this nonsense. To think we haven't even had a chance to celebrate Uriel's return. How embarrassing. You overheard that. Tensions have been high since his mother's passing. There are certain adjustments we've both had to make. Nothing some restful sleep can't solve.
Okay.
I didn't realize Mizik had an assistant. A pleasure to meet you. I hope, despite the circumstances, you will find time to enjoy the estate grounds. It's beautiful this time of year. Happy doesn't do the feeling justice. Ecstatic, overjoyed, yet still burdened by Mother's passing and the horrors of battle. But being surrounded by loved ones has been a major boon.
Okay. Very weird.
Why would Lady Weatherly leave a riddle in her will? Perhaps you can make sense of it. Could the four paws mean Betu? They certainly are not Mizik's. Perhaps we can find a clue here in her study. It seems Pelena made her feelings about the cook quite clear to Lady Weatherly. It seems Lady Weatherly led her own investigation into her son's death. A note peeking out from behind the painting. Excellent eye for detail, friend. Interesting. A hidden note guarded by a painted dog. What does it say? Let Mizik see the note. An anonymous letter warning Lady Weatherly of a traitor. This one wonders if they were able to meet before her death. It paints a disturbing picture of her final moments. Mizik was told that Lady Weatherly died alone in her library. But could she have met with a stranger only to become their victim? We must question the family, but do not mention the note. Whether this note was sent by the killer or a kind soul close to Lady Weatherly, it confirms one thing, that there is indeed a traitor among us. And with this letter, Mizik can do what he does best. Play cat and mouse.
Okay. Let's go. Huh?
If you are looking for the stranger who calls himself Uriel, he went to walk the estate grounds with Pelena, and not a moment too soon. I was growing tired of their bickering. Of course, though I doubt I'd be of much help. I was tending to affairs in High Isle when I learned of my aunt's death. As her last living blood relative, I saw fit to see to her will, Until my cousin's convenient reappearance, of course.
Strange.
Oh, as I understand it, she fell from her library's ladder while reaching for a book. If she had kept a modest staff on hand, perhaps she could have been saved. But by the time she was found, she had passed. I believe it was one of the estate's remaining workers. Helena would know more. She was here when it happened. Unlike Uriel. I know grief can cloud one's judgment, but is she not at all suspicious of Uriel's story? I haven't seen Uriel since we were teens, before I was sent to boarding school. And then he left to fight in Varen's revolt 6 years ago. He might share a passing resemblance, even with his scar, but I don't believe he's really Uriel. Frustratingly, no. But my aunt spent countless coins searching for Uriel. Even if his story is true, and he lost his memory, she would have found him. I fear Uriel was lost to us in the revolt. And this man is wearing our grief like a disguise. That's the thing. Since his arrival, Helena has been both overjoyed and furious. I suppose his return after so long could explain her mixed emotions. But I think she's hiding something.
If Aquilia was Lady Weatherly's last living heir, could she have expected to receive the missing fortune? A motive, perhaps.
Yeah.
How foolish of you to think that I would just disappear.
My love, the investigator returns. We'll continue our discussion later. Apologies. Recent events have been overwhelming, to say the least. I needed some fresh air, and my dear Uriel saw fit to join me. Is there anything I can help you with? No, I was not. Lady Weatherly was kind enough to let me live on the estate when Uriel went off to fight. But I often spend my mornings walking through the woods. A ritual that has helped ever since Uriel's death. Absence, I mean. Otho Florius, the gardener, was the one who found her. He was the only one home at the time. Ever since I fired that horrible cook, Otho's been the only remaining staff member tending to the estate. Yes, I caught Edric snooping around my private quarters. Terrible thing, having one's privacy encroached upon. I told him to never return or I'd have Betu chase him out. I admit, I did enjoy striking fear into that sad little man. Well enough. He's known me since my courtship years with Uriel. He causes his fair share of mischief, but Lady Weatherly could never bring herself to get rid of him. After all, Betu was her last connection to Uriel. The dog has a penchant for stealing what isn't his. I usually ask our gardener to wrangle him, but as you can see, he hasn't done a very good job. Of course, now that Lady Weatherly has passed, we can consider alternatives.
Go on then, ask me how I returned. It's the only question anyone seems to have for me. Uriel Weatherly, back from the dead. It's laughable. 6 years ago, I left to fight in Varen's revolt. I was gravely wounded and left for dead, and would have died had a caravan of Khajiit not stumbled upon me and taken pity. The Khajiit could heal my wounds, but not my memories. They were lost. Every single one. I rode with the caravan until I was fully healed. It wasn't until we rode into Skingrad that the first slivers of my past began to return. By the time I remembered my name and where I lived, it was too late. Mother was dead. Some things, yes, but there are still heavy clouds. For instance, it's clear Mother's riddle was meant for me, but I can't make sense of it. I can only hope your talented investigative skills solve this mystery? I fear Aquilia has merely succumbed to her own grief, chasing phantasms with bloody daggers. My mother was a wonderful woman who died a simple death. It is sad. From what I've been told, my mother lived her final years grieving in isolation. My dear wife, Pelena, did her best to keep her company, but my mother had no friends or visitors. Aside from the hired help, of course. All this talk of suspects when the woman simply fell. Though I suppose Thunderboots would not be here if the death weren't suspicious. Speak with the staff yourself.
Alright. Something don't seem right.
There you go, Betu.
Apologies for Betu's earlier mischief. I hope he didn't damage the will. He's normally better behaved, but the lady's passing has certainly got him on edge. Yes, I had taken over kitchen duties while Edric was away. I was restocking the pantry after returning from the market when I heard a loud crashing noise from the library. I thought Betu might have knocked something over in the library, but when I went to check, the door was blocked by something heavy. By the time I wedged myself through, it was too late. Yes, she was lying on the floor, motionless. One of the ladders had fallen and there were books scattered all around. No, Lady Weatherly was the only one in the library. Betu is usually plastered to the lady's side, but he wasn't in the library. He was shut up in Pelena's room. I wonder why she would have put him there. Well, Pelena keeps going on about Edric, our cook. She says he was acting suspiciously leading up to her death. But for what it's worth, I find him to be kind. He may be able to shed more light on that situation himself.
You won't learn anything from those scheming charlatans, that's for sure. Lost memories, please. Children can weave better stories than that drivel. I'll say it again, stranger. You should leave this place. Nothing but rotten memories. No. Lady Pelena had all but run me out by then. Lady Weatherly couldn't bring herself to fire me, but I thought some time away would do us all some good. Worst decision of my life, I tell you that. It's my own fault, honestly. Something always felt off to me about Lady Pelena. She never seemed too torn up about Uriel's death. I was convinced she was hiding something, but turns out my chef's paunch doesn't make for being stealthy. She caught me going through her things. A terrible...
Of course, the scene of Lady Weatherly's fall. Let us investigate the library.
Okay.
The library is to the left. Your other left. Was that window already broken? Something has broken the glass. You are certain this is where you found her body? Quite. We must study the scene carefully. Look for anything out of place. Certainly a ladder couldn't have caused this much damage to the statue. Music has seen enough. No blood, a broken window, and a fractured statue with no explanation as to how it was damaged. Music feels that there is something just out of reach of this one's claws. But what could it be? The details don't add up. Investigations always require some stretch of the imagination, but to make sense of this crime scene would be to dream up a work of fantasy. Perhaps the fantasy is the clue. Only a panicked hand could make such messy brushstrokes. Could Otho's arrival from the market have startled the suspect, leading them to block the door and escape out of the broken window? But then why create such an elaborate scene? A fall is simple enough, a tidy portrait. We should continue to investigate this broken window.
I would never hurt Lady Weatherly.
Until the investigation is complete, everyone is a suspect.
Okay. Okay, let's go outside. Okay. Yeah, same.
The library exterior is just around the corner.
Got it.
Betu. What is she sniffing? Betu found a key. And look, it seems Betu wants us to follow him.
Alright. Give me a second.
Someday you'll make something surprising
Okay,
with
keep
that.
going.
Moons above. Is that Edric? A confession, and a flowery one at that. Tea. This one smells ginger, hibiscus, and something else. Something sickly. Edric's tankard. There seems to be a suspicious residue inside. So this is the memorial Lady Weatherly built for her son. Mysic's snout wrinkles at the stench of both fresh and old death. Betu led us to the memorial of the lost Uriel Weatherly, and now we find the cook freshly poisoned. Let this one see the confession letter. Why would Edric lead us to Uriel's memorial and then kill himself? And earlier, the cook warned us of some mysterious danger. Could he have met the fate he was trying to save us from? Too many bodies and cryptic messages for this one's liking. The note says that Edric served Lady Weatherly poisoned tea the day she died, but the cook had already left the grounds. Otho confirmed that himself. And this letter says that Pelena was present for tea, but she said she was out all morning. A good question, but the memorial may be a greater clue. Lady Weatherly had gone to great lengths to find her son, but was certain of his death to raise this memorial. Our Uriel may well be an impostor, but do not give away our upper hand. We know the real Uriel went to fight in Varen's revolt, and that Lady Weatherly spent a fortune to find his body. We also know from the note in the lady's study that Pelena was against looking into his death. Yes, our masquerading rogue. The cook was certain that he was an impostor, but what about the others? Aquilia has her suspicions, but shouldn't Pelena have known? Why hasn't she raised alarm bells? And he was the only one who could have ended the impostor's ruse. But then there is Edric's confession. Could it be a forgery to throw us? We should question the impostor, but we mustn't let on that we know his gambit. I also have my reservations about the once and again widowed Pelena. If anyone else was aware of his ruse, it would be her. So why hasn't she said anything? Steady yourself as we...
Right, let's go.
What is with all the questions, cousin? Aren't our intrepid investigators? Helena and I were just arguing over what to do with my mother's estate. Marriage squabbles. Have you made progress with that mysterious riddle? I can fetch her if you'd like. She just went into the kitchen. The cook, you say? Well, as close as any young heir is with their staff. Now that I think about it, I always did find him strange. Always one for the shadows. I'm glad Helena saw fit. Dead! What a ghastly turn of events! Hold on. Another memory is coming back to me. Yes. The cook always had a secret love for my mother. Was it grief that led him to kill himself? It must have been. You don't think he also killed Mother? Oh, yes, of course. No, I must have gotten ahead of myself. Yes, that's it. All this death, I thought I left it behind on the battlefield, but it seems to have followed me home.
Thank you, Uriel. That's all. We should speak to Helena next, traveler.
There's been another murder? The killer could come for any one of us next.
Oh, Mizik, do you have updates on your investigation? Mizik, traveler, how fares the investigation? With so much still left to speculation, I've found myself wandering the grounds, trying to keep my hands busy. I hope to have things settled soon. Edric, a murderer? I'm astonished. I guess I was right to be suspicious of him, but now I wish I'd had him jailed when I could have. What a travesty. At least now we have some closure, and can focus on the missing fortune. Well, the lady and I had intended to meet that morning, but it slipped my mind. If the tea was poisoned, wouldn't that make Otho the suspect? With Edric away, he would have been the one to brew the tea for Lady Weatherly. I haven't the expertise, of course, to make such an accusation, but I do wonder. Otho and Edric have worked the estate for ages. Could they have felt entitled to a cut of the fortune?
Thank you, Helena. We will investigate all lingering threads. Traveler, let's speak with the gardener next.
Right. This is a very odd one.
Betu seems to have run off again. It's embarrassing, really. You'd think I'd be better at keeping a handle on him, but the dog is a free spirit. How are things? Made any progress since investigating the library? It had become one of my daily duties while Edric was away. I usually try to brew her a pot before I leave for the market. Apologies for not mentioning that earlier. My daily tasks have become innumerable. Edric is dead. I can't believe it. No, he'd never hurt Lady Weatherly. We were like a family. Wait, the recipe for the lady's tea is wrong. She's always found ginger to be too overwhelming. Are you sure Edric wrote this? He couldn't have. He'd never make a mistake like that. And he was nowhere near the tea that morning. I started a pot for Lady Weatherly, and Helena took over brewing it before I left. Strange. She was most definitely here. She even offered to finish brewing it. I've been so busy as of late that I accepted her offer. It's not every day Helena lends a hand around the estate. Wait, could Helena have poisoned Lady Weatherly? She usually has it in her bedchambers, but the room's been locked this whole time. It seems in the commotion the key has been misplaced. It's likely her room has remained untouched since this whole tragedy began.
Music recalls a gilded key revealed to us by Betu.
You already found the missing key.
Alright, let's go. What the? Okay. Definitely not that.
If the room has truly been locked this whole time, then not even the killer could re-enter. Let us see if we can find any clues among the mess. The residue on that teacup stinks with the same foul smell as the tainted tea we found with Edric's body. At first swipe.
Let it sit with you. Novel erudition always makes me heady.
If this letter is true, then Pelena played a role in Uriel's death. And this signature, is this the name of our resident imposter?
Other than you haven't got any questions.
At first swipe, Otho seems genuine.
Yep, I'm looking. I don't see anything else, honestly. Give me a second, I'm just going to see if I can fix this. Try to go to this room and then back. what I'm supposed to be looking for, to be exact. I really can't see anything else here.
Bakruti is pleased to see you. Your crates are gone, but there are always more available. May luck follow you.
Sorry about that, but weird. I'm gonna leave it here since I can't see anything, but thank you for watching and bye now.